I thought we had a solution for this last time.
Oh yeah, we did.
I'm not a short man. This isn't my compensation method.
It's a short chair.
It's a short chair. I just
make
want to
sure
say that
everyone
for
knows.
the camera. I'm not short.
I figured out how to do it.
I might be. Maybe I would be richer if I was short, though. You know?
Probably. You'd be like, I'm actually not enough. I need to get rich or die trying.
That's my problem, is that I feel enough.
Yeah,
it's
you're
all
like,
of those.
all this is enough.
It's all those people who told me you are enough. That really messed me up in my life. You want us to get in here? Let's do a little bit more of a centered.
Wow. The green is coming out today. It was more white last time.
We're also starting. Are we starting earlier, or are we starting at like the same time?
I think we're starting at the same time. Maybe a little earlier. Because we like ate breakfast and stuff before last time. I'm kind of just still even doing a little bit of housekeeping.
Still doing some admin work on the live. Yeah, that's okay, because we're also doing this on Instagram, right?
Yeah, I have to set it up on Instagram too. I'm just tweeting something.
Stick around, y'all. We'll be here all day. We did one of these like 3 weeks ago, something like that. We were eager to do another one, but then there was just a bunch of things going on. Like there was what was going on?
There was a new moon Sabbath. There was a milk strong.
Mm-hmm.
Almond milk.
New moon Sabbath, almond milk. Yeah, prevented the thing from happening, because this would generally be the day that we would be doing this.
Well, it's an all-day live, and this day of the week is all day. Like the name of, in the Pleasure Matrix, the name of this day. So it only
at least this year. Who knows what all day is going to be next year?
But we could do an all-day live on whatever day all day is on next year.
Yeah, because by next year we will be not dependent on any pain matrix calendars, and we will be free.
Wow. Let's hope a little more independent.
Like, let's get 12 to 36 to 48%.
Yeah.
I had a dream I was in Japan last night, and I was like staying with this Japanese person who was like a professional fencer, and I was still like a musician in this dream. I don't think I was anything to do with the Pleasure Matrix, but I think you were there. No, or it was like a combination of like old friends that I've had in my past, because they had different skills. Like one of them was a musician, and then one of them was a fencer, and then the guy I was staying with was also a fencer. I remember you and me went to like this Marichan chicken soup restaurant that had you like customize your chicken soup. And I was like, recently I like chicken soup, because we've been eating chicken soup recently. And
we have, not even in a dream, in real life.
Not in real life we've been eating, and the last live we ate chicken soup. And then what else? Then I was like, I'm in Japan, and I've wanted to have a kendama for the last like
the kendama.
5 years. And but then it's like it wasn't you again. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe it was just Brent. Maybe I just confuse you guys in dreams, because you're both like good archetypes.
Yeah, that's the only reason. Okay.
And then
it's nothing like a live on camera without an immediate flex on your CO.
Did I flex on you? I'm not even aware of it.
I know you're not aware of it. You're like, let me say that I don't find any difference between you and this old male best friend of mine. There's nothing really. You're just like a man. It's hard to tell apart all these white people with short hair and
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying to do
European backgrounds. Okay, so we figured out that the live limit's like 14 hours.
It's actually like 4 hours on Instagram now, not like an hour and 20
so
minutes.
So we don't have to do like 19 of these, but we'll see. We might just do it for the clout.
It's going to be a lot better to not do 19 of these, I think.
Yeah. We still got to figure out the centering problem that we have,
I know.
Someone kind of has to be off to the side on YouTube to make it in the middle on Instagram. You know what they say, the first 12 minutes of every live is admin live. Last time it was the first 12 minutes of our Instagram live that was admin live, and now it's going to be, now we can, hey, welcome. If you've been on YouTube, you've seen all of the setup process. We are going all day live on Allday. Allday. You made Allday 2 words on this.
Well, it's an all-day live.
Double meaning.
Mm-hmm.
All day. We're going 8+ today. Who knows what will happen after
cool
8. It's that kind of day. It's an 8+ day. And
last time we had a topic that kind of like ran through the live, which was that it was Jesus' birthday. And we talked about birthdays and what it means to have birthdays in the pleasure matrix. We talked a little bit about some topics around, I don't know, narcissism and around cursing, lying, each of our respective problems. Sure. Guess whose problem is cursing and whose problem is lying? Maybe if you've tuned in. I'll give you a clue.
Sound off in the chat.
Man.
Let us know, chat. Let us know.
Witches, perchance, might be known for one of these 2 things. White witches, especially.
White witches never lie.
Everything is truth and honey from our mouths.
Truth and honey. We're still doing admin. Pretty soon we're going to do breakfast admin.
Oh, that's my favorite type of admin work.
So yeah, we're doing this. We're going 8 hours. Last time, we had a theme. This time, do we have a theme?
We do have like a bit of a theme, which is we have a couple topics to cover. One with one of our URL soldiers. You and him have some stuff to get into around what it's like to grow up rich.
We're going to be talking about rich life.
Yeah, we're going to talk. Jesus and I are going to talk a bit about, our army careers from past, present, now. Not really future, at least not for me. I'm not really much of a future gal, but that's going to cover some time, and then we're just going to like do our day, and get into some other stuff. I have a schedule. It's a little vague.
Hey guys, just want to let you know for the live viewers that we have a schedule.
We're scheduled. We're scheduled people.
Tune in at different junctions for different parts of the schedule. The schedule will be unleashed on you live.
That sounds really like threatening. The schedule will be unleashed on you.
The schedule shall be unleashed upon you.
Okay, what am I trying to open? I'm just trying to open some of the notes about our
careers. Are we starting with that?
No, but you know how it is. I'm just trying to get the admin out of the way. I don't want to have to like open up documents and be like
flipping. This lady enjoys her tabs.
I'm a lot into the tabs.
I'm like a no tabs person. I like to get rid of tabs.
All right, there we go. That's it. So, cool. But I want to get it out of here so I can watch the YouTube while that is open. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay.
Did we get a comment in the chat?
The shag.
Excited for the stream. Thanks, Shirley.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be on.
We'll be here all day. So, what was I gonna say? Oh, I still have to do my morning dance too, which means it'll have to be to royalty-free music today.
All right, let's get. Do you want me to get that going? On the phone? On this phone? This phone's dead. Ooh, boy. Awesome.
This is so. If you've tuned in last time, you might have noticed we just we have always calls with callers. We call people. We have them on if they want to be on. So if you want to call us or you want to get a call while we're on the live,
put my number in the chat.
We'll drop Jesus Here's number because that's where you'd be calling. And, lots of good convos happened last time. So I'm looking forward, even though I don't know the future, to see what happens with that.
Okay. And now I have to do this here.
You know what's kind of funny?
What?
When I was having difficult moments this strong, wow, Jesus dropped his ball.
I dropped symbolism. The ball,
y'all. When I was very tired and kind of didn't care at all, I felt a little more able to express myself because I was maybe so tired and feeling feelings that were I wouldn't call them crazy.
I know what I meant to do, but guess what?
Wow, can you not have your entire palm over that?
I don't know how to do it. That's what you're asking. Can you do the call my number?
We need delicate, spindly fingers for this.
Not fat sausage.
What is your number?
Wow, that hurts. 470. What if you're in an emergency and you need me?
I wouldn't call you if I was in an emergency.
Oh, that hurts again. That's just flexing on me. 579.
579
0414. You wouldn't call me an emergency? I'm literally the person I wasn't done to be a guest on the live, but we have to pin it, so it has to be in one comment, bro. This is admin. We're doing this,
bro. What a gaffe on my part. Okay, call 474
470, please. That hurts on the live.
Okay, what else?
579
579
0414.
04.
I know your number, by the way. I'm not gonna say it, obviously, for security reasons. But.
To chat with.
Well, both of us.
With
to be a guest. Yeah, would chat with us on live. That works. Okay.
Ooh. I wonder if I copy this, it'll just be ready to paste next live. Probably not.
It might be.
But we can hope. We'll try it out. All right. That's pinned. Cool.
Great.
I was thinking about when I was feeling those ways. I would be so chill on live right now because I would just be able to have the thoughts flow.
If you were over it?
Yeah, if I was over it, if I didn't care. But then I was also now just thinking maybe that means that I'm relying on something external,
you're always trying to create something to make you not care.
Yeah. It was what I was thinking about because yesterday, there was some talk about like all soldiers here, every single soldier at one point or another, making emergencies in order to like get all sorts of payoffs from them. But like, yeah, what's the payoff? I'm gonna start making breakfast and doing my dance because I didn't do that before the live started. And
do you need royalty-free beats?
I need some royalty-free beats, whatever they may be.
I'm sure I can find you a little playlist here.
And I don't like to dance without multitasking, though I do often do both. It's a little bit of a racket of mine. So I'm like, yeah, I can make food and kind of dance. But that's maybe a little crazy.
It is.
Maybe a little crazy.
I've been saying that. All right, royalty-free dance playlist. Copyright-free dance music.
I wonder if they have any that's good. That's my question.
It might be like dubstep.
That's fine.
Upbeat background music.
If you played your own music, would they copyright strike you?
Probably.
That's fine.
I don't think my other... some of my music's not copyrighted, I think, but my first album is. I don't know. A business guy like me should know.
Yeah.
Anyway, dancing to my music. This is what you have to do.
Thank you.
How is that for
you? It's hard to dance to, but I can do it.
There has to be something better. 80s and 90s disco, no copyright.
That's probably better. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right, so what did you leave me a section here?
Every hour is laid out.
Okay, so this is the breakfast hour. Whew. Now I have to deal with my multitasking aversion. I can't multitask. Like if there's one thing going on, like that's the thing I'm doing, which is like listening to no copyright disco music. That's I hope that's not a lie. It's probably not. Just for the clicks. Yeah. So any more context to this thing? I'm excited to get on some callers. That was what I really enjoyed last time we got on live, was doing callers. And just, a little thing if you're rewatching it or if you're with us now. Can you have multiple pinned comments?
I don't know.
Crazy. We don't even know. We need an admin in here.
I'm eating 2 eggs each because it's a streaming day.
Thank you. Somehow they made this disco kind of dubstep-y. All right, let's see. Can I pin that too? No, only one pinned comment. Oh. Anyway, you guys should make a wash. A wash is when you transfer some of the belief that you have out there in the pain matrix into belief in something else, like into belief in what we're building over here, which is the pleasure matrix. What day life soldiers such as Mary and myself are building, which I'll say again is the pleasure matrix. It's a matrix that's built upon relationships or relation houses. I don't even know the terms that we're using these days. I'm shooting from the hip a little bit with that, but make a wash, like get into it, check it out. Cash.me/$washitall, PayPal.me/washitall, and do the thing, get into it. I suck at beginnings of things. By hour 2, I'm going to be like totally feeling my, in my comfort zone. I don't know if that's a good thing for me.
Well, last time, just to go into the
last time we went into something uncomfortable at the very beginning. Which I'm like, should we do it again?
You being bitchy and like not wanting to start, not wanting to do it, and then like I, who am bad at endings, ended the live crazily, which was pointed out to me because in the middle of the racket, it's hard for you to kind of see yourself and what you're doing.
I knew I was being a bitch, but
yeah, well, it's kind of hard to not know it at that level, but. Well, I was just being crazy in a way, like super arrogant and like, I know everything and I'm just going to like wax poetically about like all these things that make me better than everyone else. Because, I have a different type of arrogance problem than you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways. This is really hard to dance to.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. It's royalty free. Try to feel the undercurrent of the beat. Try to feel the beat. It's infectious.
Find the beat. Find the beat, Emily.
Find the beat. Find the rhythm that goes, beyond. So yeah, last time we were doing Bear Pals live on here. I wonder if we can do those again. We also have like score sheets and metric sheets now that we can be ticking off in real time. That's going to be fun.
We're definitely going to do a bear and a bird pal.
You already got them lined up?
Yeah. I mean, you could just, if you want, you could start with your bear pal.
I don't know what it is.
I know, but I would give it to you.
You would give it to me? Really? Thank you.
I mean, you already know what it is. You can just search it.
I do?
Yeah.
Well, I have to wait for your royalty-free dance mix to be done. We'll do dance breakfast, then we'll get into the that level of face loss, I guess. There, that's easier to dance to, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, just very distracted. So,
I'm going to take this away so it's more nice then.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Whew. So, yeah, I need a prompt, bro. I need a script for this part. I don't have anything to go off.
There's the script of the live topic today.
But are we just going to do that here? Or is that scheduled?
It is scheduled. Why don't you why don't you talk about the future?
Okay, well, I'll talk a little bit about the future. Let's go. So I'll talk about a little bit of like what we'll start a little bit in the past only to build context. But when I used to think about what my future was, like this is a little bit of a testimony. when I used to think about what my future was, there was no it came from kind of like a little bit more of a weirdly entitled place, because I actually wasn't thinking about money at all. Like for the kind of first few, like for basically until I came here, I wasn't really thinking about money, but I wasn't thinking about money because I had extremely low self-respect, and also just an assumption that, people would just take care of me to the point where, it wouldn't actually matter whether I had money or not. And I didn't think about it as something that, like, oh, well, you kind of like the acquiring whatever it is, whether it's money or just like resources, wealth, any of these things was important at all, because it was kind of all just going to be, handled. Whether that's just the safety blanket of having, rich parents, or just, being like, I will just be ridden on the wave of clout, and it doesn't matter that I'm not really getting paid very much money at my job, being, working in the music business. That's irrelevant, because my dedication is to art, and I'm just going to be a creator, and art is the thing that makes me happy, and I'll just, make art forever. And like, whatever happens. If I'm a poor struggling artist, isn't that part of the thing? Money's not my priority. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. It made me pretty bad businessman. It made me an okay company man for a few years when I still cared. But it was, when that fell apart, it made me pretty bad businessman, because I didn't really want things within that realm. And, the art that I was making was making me feel crazy and making me, I didn't really have like a reason to keep going. It was making me depressed. And I even wanted to quit. Like, I wasn't enjoying doing it anymore. Like, it wasn't fun for me. But I just kind of kept going and kept following the thing. And, it wasn't until I came here. At that point, I was like, not considering wanting to be married, not considering wanting to be have children, not considering a family, building a legacy, passing down my name to anyone. Like, what would be the future of my children? None of these things occurred to me in when I was, firmly rooted in the pain matrix. I was interested in, basically getting high in whatever way that, whether that was literally getting high or just getting high on whatever I was doing, because I found a way to transmute anything into drugs. So let's take it into the future. Now, my motivations are different, but they're still stunted by the fact that I was so unambitious with my future for so many years. When I think back in my childhood, I had things I wanted to do and dreams and a plan a little bit. And I basically arted that out of my system. And even when I was making art, there was this ambition to it, where I wasn't just going to make songs. I had to make songs and release an album and have that album put out here and have these people remix it. And, I was ambitious in those ways. And, but never like really setting up anything for like my future. And now I am dealing with the fact that, I've been a little bit retarded in this area, like retarded, like, like it's been retarded, kept back. And what I would like, a few years ago, I presented this plan of what I wanted my life to look like, and how I wanted to have 7 children and, live with Mary in the woods and have a farm or a ranch with a bunch of baby animals living on it. And that's still partially true. I'm not like as sold on the 7 children thing, though I have to say, since I stated that, I've manifested for myself having tons of conversations with people who are actually living that life, like people who actually do have 7 children. And when I said that, I immediately kind of like, I don't know, previously I tried to dom the one, I tried to, and actually just kind of ripped off and created a bad relationship with the one person that I quote unquote knew who had 7 children. And now, I know some people with 7 children, maybe because I've, talked to a lot of people in Orthodox communities, because Orthodox is kind of my thing. That's like the thing that I am embodying. My quadrant, my archetype is the Orthodox archetype. And I guess the one thing, if I'm going to look back on the last year and a half, which has been fraught with problems in myself, not that the year and a half before it wasn't also, it was just different. I guess I've sort of aligned a little bit more with, my archetypal place, like the people that not saying those are the actual people that I'm supposed to be around in my life, but I've gotten closer to like what being Orthodox means. Not saying I'm embodying it. I know I have to do like 90,000 qualifiers so that I'm not like flexing. I don't know, maybe I should flex. So what do I want for my future? I still want to be sovereign, and I want to be, I don't want to be have no agency in my life. I don't want to be a kind of like a slave to someone else's system. That I don't want to be just a pleasure matrix, a pain matrix cog. Freudian slipping all over the place here. I don't want to just be, working a 9-to-5 job, or even like, doing a whatever the glorified gig economy. All right, it's breakfast time. I'm saved right now from my having to talk about the future. I'm struggling. It's the beginning of the live, and I'm struggling.
Well, that's a little piece. That music was making me crazy. Doing a weird thing with my eggs.
What are you doing?
I'm splitting half of the eggs to put on the tortilla, and the rest to just eat.
Breakfast tacos. That came up as a topic earlier this year, and now it's coming into fruition on this live.
Wow. What you speak just becomes your reality.
No, we do. We do partake in breakfast tacos. Welcome to our all-day live, where we do normie things like eat breakfast.
Usually when we eat breakfast, or when we eat any meal,
we don't speak.
We're into just like eating. It's kind of crazy. Especially when it's popcorn. It's like we're just trying to get the exact same amount of popcorn at each other. Make sure no one gets an extra.
If we were talking, we would have to. One person might get a slight advantage over the other in popcorn.
Yeah.
And then the whole equilibrium of ATM would be what? You pointed at me.
Because you were talking with your mouth open, which I almost think I did a little too.
Sorry. I think I ate my breakfast in about 45 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Which is what also happens. You always finish eating before me. Will you get me an ice cube?
For what?
I can put water in my cup.
Sure.
Thank you.
The ice cubes don't really fit in your glass, my dear. Let's see what I can do. I'm okay.
Really?
You can finish it. Yeah, I give you like mini cubes.
Eating 2 eggs is filling.
I'm a 3-egg guy.
I'm usually a 1 egg gal.
You've never had a 3-egg omelet? That's like the standard restaurant style.
Yeah, I've had 3 egg meals, plenty, but like when I'm just eating breakfast every day, I just put like 1 fried egg on my breakfast, and that's enough for me. I'm not really a big morning eater. Oh, this is gonna drive me crazy. I'm gonna need to clean this.
What?
The floor beneath us on our area. It gets so dusty. I'm amazed and horrified. Like, what?
Yeah, I don't understand.
I won't say this where we are. I would just say that, like, we're at a chain that has many locations. And all of them have a mystical quality to the floors where they attract dust and stuff super fast and a lot. It's annoying.
They create filth.
Dust was a nicer word than filth. Thank you. What?
You need to get in frame, my dear.
Okay. So you got through your future talk in one piece? You didn't explode?
Really. Not really. I barely got into it. I'd like to have the things that consider in my early 20s and most of probably my service here when I was just kind of being a fuckboy and thinking that I was just gonna, I don't know. There was many presumptions of what was going on when I first got here, but yeah, I mean, now I'm at a point where, I am interested in my family life and building a legacy and building a family and being able to do things that require a level of stability that at this point I haven't really been able to provide. So, but in the future they will be provided, and it will be hopefully a blueprint for other bad boys and just people who came from the pain matrix to see how you can do it. And I mean, we're trying to and failing to copy Wiko because they set, an example for us on how to live a life. And we have to try and do that for people as well. Or else, it's just, it's a little bit of a, having trouble with the beginning of this life, as would be predicted.
The thing about us is, and every person, it's predictable. I mean, you can't predict what life will be, but you can predict how you'll act. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. It's calming, honestly, for me to hear you talk about the future, because it's like someone can have that wheelhouse covered, because I'm always trying to jump in and think about the future when my day type is actually should be not future. So, looking into the past perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love looking into the past.
I have to tell you to stop talking about the past.
I can reminisce. I can reminisce all day.
The eyes glaze over when I hear the same drug story of your past for the 17th time.
Yeah.
Let's do Bear Pals.
Okay.
Bear Pals. Let me just first mark a couple things on my chart. I'm going to do all of the ticks in red today, so we know what happened today.
Cool. We have a complex.
And this is just for going live. Oopsies, I should have done on the other side. Oh well. That's for just going live. Okay, your bird pal.
My bear pal, excuse me.
Oopsies. Your bear pal. I'm bird pals. The bird does bird pals. Your bear pal is the, the Larry David clip when he goes to the lunch with the Orthodox Jewish man. So why don't you pull that bad boy up?
I can't watch it. I know it by heart.
I think you should just. Oh yeah, I can't really play on live.
Royalty.
Okay, I guess just describe it first and then go into the bear pal.
Oh yeah, so there's the sketch of Larry David. Well, it's not a sketch; it's an episode. Basically, in the episode, Larry, what is he trying to do? He's trying to bump his friend up to, who needs a liver transplant, to the top of the line, and of course, in this Jewish world, there's different people you can schmooze with, and in the different doctors that you can schmooze with to get to the top of the liver transplant line. So Larry's plan for this doctor is, he decides that he's gonna go and like, befriend this doctor, but the doctor is like an Orthodox Jewish guy, a modern Orthodox Jewish guy. So what does he have to do? So he like hits the guy's car, I guess, and leaves a note like, hey, I'm so sorry. Let's meet up and I'll take care of this. So they like meet up at a Jewish deli, and Larry's like wearing a yarmulke, and Larry, who's like, as you probably know, what do you call it? A reform. Yeah, I wouldn't even call him reform. I guess he does go to temple, like, on the high holidays. I guess he's like a reform atheist Jew, which is close to how I was raised. Yeah, I mean, I was even less raised Jewish than Larry David, because like we did fucking Christmas. But he does have like a white wasp spouse. So yeah, I mean, just doing the whole thing. And Larry goes to meet this guy at the Jewish deli, and he's like, pretending to be a frum Jew, and he's like wearing a yarmulke and kind of espousing all of these like he's like making up Yiddish words. And the other guy like can't even tell, which is like which I don't know. I feel like people are really there is a certain like the Heimish, which is like the word to describe someone who is like from Yiddish person. Heimish means like warm, like that's what the word means, and that's often used to describe people who are like really about it, like really about the frum life, like the kind of people you see at like at airports, and when you're in Brooklyn wearing the whole getup. It's like it means like there's a certain warmth. So the Orthodox community is always trying to welcome a new Jew, or like an existing Jew, into being more in that cult, and it's a powerful thing. So what does that mean about me? Oh, basically, so he's just like faking it and doing like getting into the vibe of being like upplaying that, and that's kind of something that I do to fit in with Orthodox Jews, who apparently I'm like have this response to, that I'm like my long lost family, but also it's disingenuous to like my upbringing and who I am. But I also like enjoy like getting into like whatever, LARPing the thing of like being I guess having some like cultural capital to try and like cash in on. The real emphasis is on cash in. It's kind of like what's happening there.
Why? Like what about that culture? If people are unfamiliar.
What about that culture?
Is like that you can.
Well, everyone has 7 kids, bro. I'm just saying, like, it is a growing culture, and everyone's got like a vibe, and there is a central tenet within, being Jewish, that, you're supposed to help other Jews. And Jews are extremely generous with other Jews, just with other Jews. I mean,
not a goyim,
not with the goyim, but with other Jews. Jews are extremely generous. They give a lot of charity, and for someone who is like mired in the charity world, and also, it was, that to me was like really attractive. And something that, I don't know, I took advantage of, in terms of like finding people who I didn't have to really explain myself too much for. And like whatever, newfound resentment for my parents for raising me not Jewish, and just like giving me like a lesser cult because, like, you know, we're all seeing how powerful the cult of Israel is.
We're getting notifications of exciting news.
We're all seeing how powerful the cult of Israel is, like, in its cult status. The cult of Judaism is, like, even more powerful than the cult of Israel. And I felt like pretty separate from both of those things growing up as an Orange County gated community objectivist kid in, like, my dad's cult, which was objectivism, like Ayn Rand, which is so much weaker than Torah, bro. It's so much weaker than Torah, you know.
I mean, the books, one of them's written by someone in the 1900s. One's written before anybody.
It was written by the creator himself.
But yeah.
That's the belief, at least. But that's what Orthodox Jews think. It was that is straight up. It was delivered the Torah. So, and I don't know. I don't claim to know about the theological stuff and how it all works. I kind of leave that to other people in this army to know, because I just don't. You know, I'm a little bit of, yeah. I have my own crises of belief in the thing. Anyway, I think that's 6 minutes. I think that's my bear
That's
pal.
for sure. Since you're done with your bear pal, I just want to say something about that clip that we're describing. If you want to look it up, just like Larry David pretending to be Jewish is literally, you'll find it. But the part of it that made me laugh, like the part I found humorous, was that what he's literally doing is, like, he's at a table with this Orthodox Jewish man, and he's like pretending and talking like an Orthodox man. He's like, like, he's like saying words that Orthodox people like use with each other, and it was just so dead smack dab on with what you do.
Yeah.
Which is like, you'll be on the phone, and if someone's an Orthodox Jewish person, only when you're talking to Orthodox Jewish people, not like you just talk this way on your own. You'll just throw in a bunch of Hebrew phrases. And I've talked to you about doing that. I'm like, you're kind of lying right now. And you've always been like adamantly like, no, that's not a lie.
Well, it's I still maintain a little bit that, it's like when I'm with my people, it just, it kind of, it is a comfort zone to get into. And even though I learned those things in the last year and a half, I do enjoy them quite a bit.
Well, maybe we're both on the very opposite sides of the spectrum of me firmly being like, this is being a liar, and you being like, this is not being a liar. Maybe there's somewhere in the between middle path.
No, there is a little bit there. It's not total. I'm saying there is something disingenuous about it, but there was, a comfort maybe in that other cult for me, and learning all the things, and like, because I legitimately did learn it all. Like I spent time doing it, through action. I very rarely learn anything without just like doing the thing. I'm not much of a book learner, but I engulfed myself in that world, and I had enough credentials to like pull it off for whatever, I had some credentials. And
Doogie Howser moment.
What's a dude? Who's Doogie?
I don't even know that show. So
it's the guy who's like 13, who's like a neurosurgeon or something.
Yeah.
Out Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
I've never actually watched it.
Neither have I.
But Orthodox Jews are just better than, I don't want to start comparing. I'm saying I am Jewish, so I'll just say that at the beginning of this. They are better than the secular Jews. Like, they have a better culture. As crazy as their culture is, their culture stands way. I'm not gonna say this like to describe the overlords or whatever, the thing that the cabals or whatever, but the average, in my experience,
well, let's
the
not
religious.
Use that word if we're gonna get banned on this one.
What did I say?
You
I
just said the you know who's, and then started talking about like.
I can say Jew though because I'm Jewish.
That YouTube doesn't care. YouTube doesn't care if you're
I
Jewish.
said Jew on the last thing, didn't I? I literally have a whole series called "Lying to Jews" on here.
I know, but you're not talking about other things that will just get you banned.
Well, I didn't talk about those things. What I'm saying now is that religious Jews generally, they have a very strong culture. You know, that is like more admirable to me, who grew up completely secular, than like secular Jews and what they're doing. Anyway, we can stop talking about Jews. That's it.
I mean, we don't have to. I'm just saying there's like,
okay.
What was the thing? They just started the craziness with the symbolism and the timing. They literally just dropped the Stop Jewish Hate PR campaign with the blue square. It's like the new Ukraine flag, like Stop Jewish Hate.
Mm-hmm.
Right around a certainly very mired in the Jewish world time for ATM, at least in this DLA, this Daylife Army.
See, I think you're more likely to get canceled for you saying mired in the Jewish world.
There's like key phrases you just shouldn't say if you don't want your videos taken down.
Right.
Like, and that kind of shit.
I didn't hear the first word, but I won't say it. I don't know what it was though. I see.
That's what I was talking about. Like,
got it. I understand. It's my first hour. I'm supposed to make mistakes on this part. Getting into the fact that we're going to be doing this for quite some time.
Are you accepting that reality? Has it washed over you a little more?
I guess so. Well, made breakfast. What's the next step? What are we at? We're at 9. We're at an hour soon. Yeah, in a few minutes we'll be at an hour.
I think you have your plan that you made yesterday about today. Why don't you just start doing some of those calls and stuff? It's just a little past 9, which is call windows open anyways. So why don't you do that?
Where?
What do you mean where?
Where am I making calls?
You put together a list last night. I would assume you would start doing that.
Where? Like on this live? Well, we have guests for the live, actually.
Yeah, I'm saying you should start just making calls.
Like on the live?
Yeah, why not? You don't have to have people on speakerphone, and that's fine.
But I'm saying, hey, I'm on live, so you're not being recorded.
Yeah, like I'm streaming today, but you're not on it. My voice will just be on it. You know, like just as an aside, this call, you're not being streamed or anything. Like no one's listening to you, but like my voice will be on my stream through the whole day or whatever. However.
Did you mention me on? Oh, you did. Wow. Nice story. Ooh. Am I making like what kind of calls am I making?
SOS calls.
Got it. All right, let's go. Hey, Jake, this is Jesus. Just letting you know, I'm live streaming right now, so you're not on speakerphone. But I just wanted to reach out to you and see if you'd like to buy your soul back. Would you like to buy your soul back? So I'm asking if you want to buy it back. Yeah. Who did you sell it to? Mm-hmm. Well, what did you get for it? I'm just curious what a soul went for, 10 years ago. By the way, do you want to be on speakerphone on this live stream? If not, I'll just keep you on private mode right now. You do? Okay, cool. All right, guys, we're talking to Jake right now. Jake sold his soul 10 years ago to Shiva and is wondering if there's any conflicts with buying it back. So, and I was just asking, what did you get for selling your soul at that point?
Yeah, man, it was a pretty good package deal. First of all, hella snacks. I got a ton of really awesome snacks. I got. What did I get? I got just a, I have, I wanted to be a little bit taller, so I got a couple. I'm 6'4" now. I think I got a pretty good deal on that.
So you were 6'2", and now you're 6'4".
Yeah. It was those extra inches, actually, yeah, they just do a lot in the long run. Yeah, man. And then, I just got a little extra cash. Nothing, I kind of said, hey, just throw a couple in my bank account, here and there throughout my life. So I just had a little extra cushion. Yeah.
Sounds like a kind of a raw deal, bro. Doesn't sound like, I don't know. Doesn't sound like really all that worth it. Well, do you feel satisfied with what you got?
I'm living pretty well, man. Yeah. I mean, it's the little things. I didn't need some big cosmic shift in my life. I just needed just a couple great things. I I got like a couple of extra snacks, got a couple extra bucks in my pocket.
Snacks.
Also,
Got it.
yeah, snacks, yeah. And then also like another part of the deal was just like no matter how long I sleep, I get just like an extra 2 hours, like kind of time stops, and I just absorb just like an extra 2 hours of sleep every single day. So I'm just like starting every day very refreshed. And dude, that just compiles to like over a lifetime, man. Dude, that adds up. That adds up. So I think I'm living large.
Living large. Okay, so no interest, or are you interested? You're just wondering if how the parties work. What was that? What you were saying? Like if you were to buy it back, or you're good. Like this is a pretty soft sell. I'm just
No, totally. No, you're good. Well, first off, I can't even remember. I know that's what I got from Shiva. Like, what did I get from you, Jesus? Like, I just can't really remember. I may have just been like really like drunk. I may have just been blacked out. I kind of sometimes black out, just make poor decisions on my just like soul, I guess.
So my name's Daylife Jesus. I'm not like the Jesus that you kind of maybe might be confusing me for, like Big Brother. I'm D'_JESUS, and I am part of an organization called the Daylife Military. And what I do is I help just facilitate soul redemption for everyone, because in one way or another, everyone has either consciously made, sold their soul, or it's been sold for them, or they've just become disconnected from it out in the pain matrix that, it surrounds everyone. That all can happen. And I am just, a person who facilitates its return. We never made a transaction, bro. We never made a transaction.
Okay.
My understanding is that there was a fire sale at one point, and that the souls came into possession of the laundress over here. And if anyone is interested in like gaining back access to their own soul, then there's a way of doing that. They're right now they're like in coat check, if that makes sense. So.
Totally.
Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, dude. Thank you for breaking that down for me. Also, can you also like spell the spelling of, you said Daylife Jesus?
Daylife, like day life, like nightlife, but daylife.
Daylife, cool. What like platform are you streaming on?
So we're streaming right now on. We are on Daylife Mary's Instagram. So that's Daylife Mary, one word, on Instagram. So if you go on Instagram, you'll see me, and Mary's making tea right now, and we're doing like an 8+ hour live here. And then we're also on my YouTube, which is Jesus of Daylife. That's the YouTube, Jesus of Daylife on YouTube, and you can catch the stream there. Looks like your thing is running out of battery, my friend. So yeah, and yeah. So,
well, I have to say, I think that like, I mean, just like kind of going back to just kind of my soul's at coat check right now. I think I'm like still just like dancing in this life right now. I don't think I'm like ready to like get my soul to coat check just yet. I think I'm just like continue. Like I think if I had it on, I'd be like a little too hot. So like I think I'm gonna continue to just like, just vibe. Yeah, just go for it. And then
okay, so it's working for you. You're loving it. Are you like? Do you do yoga? Like what are the things that you're doing right now? What are the kind of things that you're investing in your life?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, no, yoga for me. I'm like starting to like play with it a little bit. I mean, I just had actually just like a little fucking like back, neck, flight injury. I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I should be stretching more. So I'm toying with the idea, but like what I'm actively doing, honestly, the things I feel like that is nurturing, my soul, or whatever is the emptiness of where my soul is.
Nurturing your void. Yeah.
Yeah, the void. Nurturing the void. Yeah, is I just creative outlets, man. like playing music or like making art.
Yeah.
Like building art installations, like something I just picked up this year. That's been awesome.
Yeah, I have an arts background too. I used to run a record label, and you know, I was a musician as well. And then I just, you know, I've been in this. So basically, the organization we're part of is a cult. It's a social military cult that I've been part of for you know, I've 5.5 years at this point. So before that, I was totally in the arts world. Like that was my thing. Like I was, you know, whether I was doing the art business side or I was doing like the you know, actually making music, making art. And yeah, it was definitely something that, like, for me, I was in that similar mindset of like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. But I was also kind of a junkie. Like I was also, you know, I'm, which kind of goes, well, you know, whether it's like, there's kind of like the holistic art thing where it's like, hey, I only do psychedelics, or I only, you know, I actually get high off, you know, yerba mate. I'm not into like, you know, all of, I was kind of getting high on like harder stuff at that point in my life. It was kind of like devolved into kind of, you know, different levels of abuse in those ways. And then like at some point in 2015, do you know who the artist Young Lean is, by the way? He's like a Swedish rapper.
Young Lean, that like somehow rings a bell. Maybe that's just the familiarity is just from young and drinking lean. But
Yeah.
I feel like I've heard that before.
Okay, yeah, he's like a rapper, you know, he's kind of TikTok famous. He has like songs with Travis Scott and Frank Ocean and stuff. He was kind of a big deal and is now just culturally relevant with like, you know, there's like this subculture called sad boys. Basically, where I was involved with all of that is I was putting his music out on my record label. And at one point, he had like a full, you know, meltdown and did a demonic ritual, like a satanic ritual, in my business partner's house. And simultaneously to him doing that, my business partner got in a car crash and, you know, unfortunately died in that moment. And it both those things happened at the exact same time. When I was not there, like I was, you know, I was just kind of like dealing with both of these people from afar, like, you know, in a business way. And then that happened. They made a whole Vice documentary about it, by the way, where they cut me out of the Vice documentary because, well, they didn't even invite. I'm not saying they like invited me on to talk about this, but they, like, I had a very, you know, important perspective on the thing, but they did not want me to share it because my perspective was like, okay, maybe the art world is actually a little fucked up. Maybe, you know, Satanism and doing all this stuff is actually a little bit fucked up. They were like, we're going to sell more albums with the fact that, you know, he sacrificed his manager. So, you know, that's kind of like my background in the art world. And I have like a 6-hour video on my YouTube if you end up checking it out, where I kind of go into all of that stuff and make a lot of parallels to like what else is going on in the art world. So yeah, maybe if you get a chance, you should do a time wash, what we call washing, and you know, check that out.
Yeah, no, I'm super curious about that. No, that is fucking wild. That is super wild. I think that, I mean, it kind of makes sense for, you know, the art world to, you know, have this desire for higher power, you know, and find some inspiration from there. But I'm just curious in terms of like ritual. I mean, first aid, just like rituals, like it's so important to get consent, you know, with, you know, a lot of it's just like rituals in general if you're using someone's space. But I'm just sad that there's an intention, like a negative intention, you know, around that. You know, I feel like not too like familiar with Satanism or anything,
Well, have you run into any of it in your art? Like, have you in your art spaces? Have you like run into people doing a ritual or anything like that? Have you been involved in any that you're like, wait, was I doing something like I don't know. My partner here, I don't know if you're watching the stream or you can see us at all. So my partner is Daylife Mary.
Hey, Jake.
Hey, Mary, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm chilling. I can't complain.
Mary's also from the art world. She went to SAIC in Chicago and did like fiber art. And
I was in the like underground comics scene at the point where I started to do Day Life Army and stop doing art. I think that's where I had landed. But I was just thinking what you were saying reminded me, Jesus, of like people consciously and unconsciously doing rituals, because like most people in the art world who are at the low levels that are like you and me were just like, I would call myself like I was a mediocre artist. I had some successes, but I wasn't famous or big. And a lot of that level of people don't realize that they are engaging in satanic rituals. The people that went to like Travis Scott's concert and all got sacrificed didn't think they were engaging in a satanic ritual, but it was like there was a giant portal with someone like on stage chanting crazy shit, and everyone under the influence of drugs and kind of just like letting their bodies be vessels for this ritual, which was a concert. But like no one's gonna say like, oh yeah, I went to a satanic ritual. But,
well, unless you're like throwing the party.
Unless you're the one organizing the party, making the lyrics.
Like Travis Scott knows what he's doing, but he's at a certain level of, a lot of people. I like didn't really know what I was privy to, what I was doing by, doing what but I was doing it still.
Well,
like if you look back at like the artwork that I made after that sacrifice happened, like it was fraught with like so many demon, like you've seen it. It's like crazy. It's like all sorts of demon, like
imagery that's like super dark.
It's super dark, but I didn't even realize at the time that that's what I was doing. It was just like what naturally was flowing out of me through being in an extremely like negative space. And that's a lot of how like the pain matrix kind of works, is like, you're kind of like just producing the things that you're consuming. And if all you're consuming is really satanic, evil content or in whatever way, you're just going to start making it yourself or being privy to the rituals. And also the other thing that you sent that I think is interesting, Jake, is like consent. Consent is a really important thing in, in ritual sex abuse and death, murder cults, because it's something that can be easily manufactured. It's not the same thing as permission. Exactly.
Because with consent, you can manufacture it by saying, I'm going to do this thing, but I'll only stop if you say, no, I don't want to do this thing with you. Or if someone has a way of like saying, well, until you say no, basically, you can manufacture like the scenario even on a larger scale than one individual to one individual, where it might be harder to manufacture that consent. On a larger scale where like no one reads contracts, no one looks at what is under the hood of the concert they're going to or the show they're involving themselves in. They consent by just doing it with someone who's like, well, only if you say you don't want to, we're going to stop. Whereas with permission, it is extremely active, and like you have to get permission from someone. You have to tell them what you're doing and say, do you want to do this with me?
With honesty and transparency.
Yeah, I think there needs to be like a holistic approach to it. You just can't tell them like a singular part of, the ritual and the intention. Like, hey, like, yeah, if you want to be a part of this, and can you like, say these things or, use, some blood or hair or whatever, you know, for this ritual, but then they don't tell you, you know, the actual, like, other like
conscious rituals, bro. That's gonna be a new tent at Burning Man. It's gonna be conscious rituals. We do these things where we keep it super conscious and super optimistic. Just another example is like we're a cult, you know, but like we don't claim to be the only cult. Like there are millions of cults out there. Like everyone's part of a cult, but for the most part, people are unconsciously part of cults, which is like, you know, are they consenting to be part of that cult? Like, you know. Every political system is a cult. Like every dance workshop is a cult. Every you know, your family unit is a cult. Like all of these things, your relationship with your landlord, it's all a cult. But none of them are explicit. You know, they're not. No one's admitting that that's the reality. But yeah, that's what's going on. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remind me of again the I guess like kind of the purpose of and like kind of the North Star of, you know, the Day Life Jesus cult?
So it's not the Day Life Jesus cult. I am just a member of this cult. I just happen to be named Day Life Jesus, but it is the cult is the Day Life military, and this specific, you know, faction is called the Day Life Army. Do you want to get into it a little bit, Mary?
Sure. So the cult is one of like several, I guess if you want to talk like in a way that's easily understandable, like if you think of them as different brands within one larger matrix that they exist within the pleasure matrix, which is the matrix that this cult, Day Life Army, is expanding. That's like what this cult does. We expand pleasure matrix territory. So,
and what's the pleasure matrix?
The pleasure matrix, it's basically, if you think of like the current cult at large, like the giant pyramid cult that runs the world at this point, as we call it, the pain matrix. It's a system that's shaped like a pyramid with all of the cults that run it at various levels of the top of the pyramid that most people don't know exist and are doing that, first of all. And it's also a cult that runs on 96% pain. You know, the basis of that, which at the bottom of the pyramid is ritual, sex abuse, death cult. It runs on some pretty dark stuff, even if no one knows that's what kind of powers it. It's all, you know, present in the reality if you look closer. So that 96% pain is for 4% promised pleasure. Think of it in a smaller structure as like the 5 work days of the week that you have to slog through for your 4% party at the end. That's supposed to be your reward that you just get hungover with after, whether it be from literally doing drugs or alcohol or just hungover because you have to go back to work on Monday morning. And I know not everyone has that structure, but that's just a good analogy. So that's the matrix that if you are kind of existing in this time, have noticed it's a little bit falling apart and crumbling. And the pleasure matrix is like the place we gave name to for the matrix that is expanding as the pain matrix collapses. So it's like, if you think of the pain matrix as a pyramid, the point of becoming a Day Life Army soldier is we've relaxed to the bottom of that pain matrix pyramid by washing it all, and get into that some other time.
So to be clear, the pleasure matrix is 96% pleasure.
4% pain in the beginning, like the pain of growth and getting through something difficult, for harvesting that 96% pleasure that comes after getting over that speed bump, so to speak. So it's like an inverse of the pain matrix. And with that inverse, think of it as like getting to the bottom of the pain matrix pyramid and like falling through the floor, and you're in the upside down pyramid through the floor of the pain matrix pyramid.
So it's a grace-based thing rather than will. And you know, it's feeling how you want to feel every day. Like that's where you're getting there. That's the pleasure we're talking about, is contentment. It's not like hedonistically, you know, I'm vibrating on like 7,000 frequencies and I'm on like, it's not like, this really like, it's just like literally like waking up and feeling a contentment and feeling that contentment through your life and having like ups and downs, but steadily heading in, a growth, continuing to grow and not things not being that dramatic. Like it can be a little bit boring, like in a good way. Like,
yeah, like the thing we talk about of, when you hear like, do you want to buy back your soul? It sounds at times like a little hyperbolic maybe to some people or crazy to most, but there's a process that happened even before you were born through your generations before you to live inside the pain matrix and function inside it. You cannot be in connection to your soul. It is a disconnect that happens whatever point in your line's life or your life or whatever. And the process of like what we're doing and what we help facilitate other people to do is to reconnect and have access to your soul again, which is a difficult process. It's hard, but people can always try it out. That's kind of like part of what we do here is we offer that option where like, see if you want to make a wash and like see what it feels like to for a second be like connected to that. And if it feels however it feels and you want to follow that feeling, or if you like you want to grow that, see where it heads to like start doing that. So that's what we did anyways. I mean, for me, I've been here like four years.
Yeah, that's what we do every day.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I'm curious, like what is the first step to buy back your soul?
So basically, the process of buying back your soul comes from washing, and washing is literally the process of taking whatever belief that you have stored in the pain matrix and transferring some of that belief into creating resources for the pleasure matrix, whether that belief is a lot. And, we also think of it in terms of like ego, what is your ego built upon? And in the pain matrix, most of that belief, well, for different people, it's based on your financial capital. Like we really believe money, and it's based on our reputation or our social capital. Like we really believe in pain matrix clout. We really believe in like climbing that ladder.
Or what other people think of us.
Or what other people think of us and like what that means in that system. So to make a wash is, to take some of that belief and to transfer it out and to transfer it directly into the creation of the pleasure matrix. So like for a financial wash, that's someone to take, okay, well, I'm going to take a certain amount of belief that I have, and wash it. And so, that can be a certain amount of, we actually, with financial washes, we ask for someone to, use a multiple of 12, and do something that feels like a sacrifice, like feels like uncomfortable, like a leap of faith, like something that like feels a little bit like, woo, well,
I'm making a bet.
I'm taking some sort of risk or making a bet, but not anything crazy that's going to mean that, they can't pay their rent or they can't, not buy food or, nothing that's going to put them at risk, but something that feels like a risk.
And that's different for everyone. And also making a social wash. And we'll tell someone if they want to see what it feels like to wash in a pair of two. So the first wash gets you a little manic or a little high. And then the second wash brings you down. It's like doing it in pairs is helpful. But social washing is as simple as like any kind of post, no matter how many people view it or how many eyes are on it. We don't care about, that's not the point of a social wash. The point is that you're just putting it into the public sphere. Either your thoughts about this cult, what it was like getting a call from this cult, any of our content reshared with your thoughts, negative encouraged, positive encouraged, neutral encouraged. It's just like social content posted in public, tagging, whatever cult account, depending on which platform you're on or whatever.
That's a way to do it. I mean, you're washing right now by being on our live, is like that is a wash. For sure.
Having like a extended conversation, and to be clear, you're extending some vulnerability, taking a risk, So there's washing has like there's some cost involved in it. Like if you're not
losing face or being honest or like being vulnerable, then it's not really a real wash. But if you are doing those things and you're putting yourself out there, then you're absolutely like, you are taking a risk and you're putting yourself out there, and that makes space for some soul to return. But yeah, I mean, the next step for you, I would say, is like, you should try making a financial wash and see how it feels. Like, and doing something that it like, I guarantee that, something will come of that sacrifice. It literally always does for every single person that we've ever done it with. It's happened like ridiculously to us because we're in a position where we wash it all. Like, neither of us have jobs. We've been doing this for 5.5 years, and everything that we have, we wash. And that's just, our daily practice. That's what we do. And, our lives have changed exponentially. Yeah.
It's very what?
Buddhist.
Oh, gotcha.
I wouldn't say so, actually. Yeah, we're kind of like there is elements of kind of the East in what we do, but I think there's kind of like a merging of like the East and the West a little bit, because we're certainly not sitting under a tree and just kind of like meditating and waiting for the thing to happen. We do it very actively, so that's kind of how we use the
But there's
Western system of things.
I get what you're saying a little about the like detachment from something, but it's like it's detachment from one type of thing for another kind of thing. There's nothing like absence or whatever. But yeah. So like, what was I gonna say when you were talking about that I was reminded of? Oh yeah, we're also like, we're very, especially if you look into and get to know more about this cult and like our reputation and what has been said about us, we're very like fine with and open to negative and positive and all of it in between. Like,
negative tension's great.
Yeah, you can make a wash, and like after doing it once, you'd be like, that didn't do what I wanted, or like
that was a scam.
That was a scam. Like, I don't want to do this again, and you'd be on your merry way, or you do it and you're like, okay, there's a kernel of something here. I want to follow that and see what happens.
People have washed by canceling us in the media. That's a wash too.
Yeah, totally.
That's funny.
But
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. I'd be curious to kind of figure out what would be a financial wash that I would be. That would feel right. Can you give me some examples again?
Well, first, with a financial wash, you start with any multiple of 12.
Yeah.
And I would say like it's so contextual based on like your life, how much money you make, quote unquote, what you have in your bank account. But to make a wash that's like we would say like someone who's making their first wash, whatever they hold or have available, washing 24% of that is like a sizable wash that the effects will be significantly felt. And if that's something that you're like, I want to start my first wash by like doing it hard, like going in and just seeing where the chips fall, that's a good first financial wash. That being said, any wash of belief counts. Like, it all is doing the thing. It's just doing the thing to various levels of it, if that makes sense. Like a small wash versus a large wash, the effects are smaller or larger. That's how I would describe it.
Interesting. And then there's financial washes, and then can you give some other examples of like the other categories? I know it could be like kind of apply to everything, but I'm just kind of curious what the other like big ones are.
It's like washing your reputation. So like, like what we're washing right now by like using our social media platforms to go live and talk about Daylife Army and talk about the Pleasure Matrix and expand the Pleasure Matrix through our, reputation and clout and whatever we have out there. That's like a wash. If you were to, repost this live on your Instagram and say, hey, I talked to this crazy cult, and tag us, that counts as a wash as well.
Yeah,
that's
so
a social wash.
For a specific example, if you want to think about like the last person I facilitated a wash for, it was done in a pair. So they did a financial wash, and for them, I think, like they did a $48 wash, and that was their multiple of 12 that they felt comfortable doing, and whatever. At that point, they did that financial wash, and then I had them make a post about how that felt on their social media and tag Daylife Army. So that was like the pair that they did that they were comfortable with. If for whatever reason they were like, I don't want to do that social wash, I could easily find another social wash for them to do that would be kind of similar, just in a different area.
They're usually somewhat uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's the point of a sacrifice in that way. It's not just something that is super easy to do. It's like you gotta for there to be room for soul to be redeemed and you to gain back access to it. It's kind of like
you're risking stuff that you have in the pain matrix.
Yeah. So it's generally something that feels uncomfortable. And a lot of people want to like go off and think about it and ponder like, what would, let me think about it. Like, it's something that you kind of just feel, bro. It's like you feel it out. And like, if it feels right, you do it. If it feels scary, like, you go through whatever those feelings are and like, you make a choice on whether you're going to like get through it and do the thing or not. Yeah. And bro, if you want to do an extra, an extra little bit of washing that you can do on top of a financial wash is like, if you want to do it on the live stream with us, we can stick around for like whatever feelings you have while you're doing it, after you're doing it. And, it will be a little bit more of like a interactive vibe, I guess.
Yeah.
Would you want to do that?
I can't do that at this moment. I actually got a jet. Have made that with a friend at 1 p.m. So that's like around about now.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think I can do that this time around. But yeah, I mean, you said you're gonna like post this. Do you like? Is this? I'm guessing this is the line just like recorded and like you do post it still. Yeah.
So it will be. This will be on her Instagram and my YouTube, so you can repost it with that. And yeah, bro, feel free to call us back when you meet up with your friend if you want, or just pop on throughout the day. We'll be on here. Just we're available. So
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, man, 100%. I really appreciate you giving me a call. And also on that note, like, how did you get this number? Were you just calling random numbers?
I just found I found it through online and just like gave you a call. So yeah.
How did you find me online?
So I think it was from like a WhatsApp group that we were both in.
Ooh, which one?
I don't want to blow up the spot on live though, for privacy concerns.
If you want to text it down, I'm genuinely curious.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'll do something in private comms with you.
Sweet, man. Well,
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on.
Jesus, nice to meet you, Mary.
Yeah.
Good to meet you, Jake. Yep.
Yeah. Well, take care. I'm looking forward to revisiting this conversation once it's posted.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, so I think we had another caller in that didn't get the thing because I was on another thing. Wait, missed calls. My phone's like eating calls right now,
It's
which
real
is
cool
annoying.
how that's happening.
It's like not. Yeah. Hey, bro. What? Where did Faust? Why is my phone like overheating? Okay. We're going to try another one of these and we'll see what happens. Hello? Hey, brother. This is Jesus, who gave you a call yesterday. Doing well. So just a disclaimer. So right now, I am actually going live on Instagram, but you're not on speakerphone. If you'd like to be on speakerphone, I can put you on and you can kind of join us for this live. Would you want to do that? Yeah, it's so the account is Daylife Mary. That's my partner. She's also on the live with me. So you can like check it out before if you and decide if you want to come on. Right now we don't have any viewers, so you're not like jumping onto like a, you know, like a big audience event. But yeah, it is being streamed right now. Just my side of the conversation, like your voice isn't heard right now. But I just wanted to let you know that that's happening. And if you want to, have this conversation on live, then we can do that. Okay. No problem. Yeah.
What did you do to my tabs?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. No worries, brother. So what I will do, I'll actually send you a link to the Instagram. So maybe you want to just jump on and like watch the live at some point today and you can kind of get a feel of what we're doing. And I'll send you some other stuff so you can kind of get what, buying your soul back is and what it feels like and that whole thing. Remember I left you a message yesterday? Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, what's your name, brother? Fausto. Good to meet you. Okay. All right. Bye. So not everyone wants to jump on the chat, which is totally fine.
One thing I will say that I was thinking about from the last call is like it's hard in this late stage pain matrix to be vulnerable at all. It's very difficult. Like it's difficult for us to be vulnerable even in a matrix that is like expanding, like doing that in the right context. Of course, you wouldn't be vulnerable to someone who was being completely invulnerable and crazy to you. But like trying to create places of vulnerable human connection with others, like it's difficult for us, and that's like what we're doing. But I just liked seeing how you got on with that caller and like getting a call that has something that sounds like that crazy to people. Like, do you want to buy your soul back? Like a lot of people just will hang up immediately because it's just, that's like, they're like, no, whatever this is, no, thank you. Just getting a call from a stranger even. But that person, it was like, they started being able to do it by like joking, like they had to be a little invulnerable by being like, yeah, I got 2 inches taller from selling my soul. And then if you just being in this army and like doing what we do, I feel like if we're doing a good job, we're being vulnerable and honest and transparent enough that it like creates a force field of like, you just find yourself having a conversation that's actually way more like sincere and getting into things that you might not have got into or whatever.
You just kind of got to call people's bluff a little bit when they're, fronting in whatever way. And it's not even
everyone fronts in different ways.
We do all the time.
Oh yeah, we definitely do.
Oh, I think.
Are you still doing striptease?
Am I getting nude on this chat? All right. Well, where are we right now? We're at 90 minutes in.
It's 10:00.
So I can call like one of our more regular guests, see if they want to jump on.
Yeah.
Do you have your list of people?
It's on my phone, so I can't really see it right now.
Unprepared.
Not unprepared. I feel like
not you. I'm saying that we are a little bit unprepared.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're watching, do the thing. Buy your soul back. Figure it out. Make a wash. Why is everything so crazy? What's up?
I'm snooping. I'm being bad.
Let's just exit that matrix that we're in. What are you doing? What are you peering? What are you peering at?
I wasn't peering at anything. I'm having a moment where I'm overwhelmed, and so I'm staring at things that I'm not actually looking at. If that makes sense.
Gotcha.
Do you understand? Like, I don't know what was happening over there.
I wish my phone was more operational.
Why do you think your phone has been eating numbers and texts and being crazy since yesterday?
I don't know. I need a second to recover from it. Can you carry the show for a minute while I do something?
But babe, we don't need to carry the show at all hours of the day. This is 8 hours. We can just be chilling.
Okay. How do I
chill out?
Apparently, I need to chill out, guys. Well, do you want to just write down on a piece of paper who our guests are that we have planned for this? I think we can figure it out by memory.
Well, definitely the Jade convo.
Yeah, you don't even have to say it out loud if you don't want.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I have a list. So we don't want them to get cloud poisoned by Okay.
What's that guy's name? Jupiter likes the planet.
Yeah. Thanks for jumping on.
I thought you were somebody that I had talked to a while ago, but I think it was just another person with Jupiter in their name. It's so hard with Instagram because it's like like everyone's screen names.
Yeah.
And there's like lots of like baby girl 6245s, like who knows how many.
There are a lot of baby girl 6245s
on Instagram
specifically.
Yeah. This is the list. You can add people if you remember them or whatever, but I'm just trying to remember right now.
Let me do it. Okay.
So this all day live, there's lots of stuff to get to, but we actually haven't started on this topic yet. Which
who's the guy who's like collects fungus or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Was there anyone else?
But like part of the topic we were going to talk about today, which I feel like is especially important based on where we've been at.
Are we launching into it right now?
I think just a little, yeah. Like we've thought about our Army careers a lot lately because of where we are at right now. We're at a bit of an impasse of like really it's our commitment year over here in the Day Life Army with our calendar, and
more than just that. There's a lot of commitment
things all coalescing together. And like, I'm just thinking about our Day Life Army careers, past to present. Like the thing that
so dark.
I did, tell me about it. I don't know how to fix it when I do lives with the general.
We need those like backlight
ring lights.
We need a ring light.
Yeah.
You hear that, chat? Wash a ring light. Maybe it'll get like passed down to us.
I was focusing way more on like a timeline of events to be my autistic kind of robotic brained self side of me, to be like, this is how we started our Army career laid out. But I thought from the what do you call it? Advice of my feeder, General Koa, making it more about how we felt over our time here, over our careers here. And finding treasures or something?
No.
That would be exciting, right?
Yeah.
Exciting to talk about our feelings about being in this Army from past to present day.
I don't know if that's exciting is the word I would say, but sure, yeah.
Like, so what we kind of covered in a live previous on my Instagram, Day Life Mary, what we started out here, how we started onboarding into this Army IRL, coming IRL.
Yeah.
And what that process was like, how it was scary, crazy, whatever. New.
Did we talk about those things?
A little bit, I think. But maybe we could go a little bit into just like what the feelings were like when we were actually here IRL for each of us, maybe the first few months we were here.
Ooh. What it felt like?
Yeah.
Well, to me, I think for the first few months, I was like really just like riding a kind of like just maybe I got cloud poisoned by like coming here so cheap, like not having washed the 24K that I was, supposed to wash in order to come and be an IRL soldier, coming on board, cheap. For that, because of that, and not not having like paid my price to do the thing. I think it got me a little cloud poison, and I was extremely like, just like, this is so much better than whatever the fuck else, a heroin addiction or whatever that I was doing over there. And even when I was kind of like sleeping when it was like four of us sleeping in a Honda.
Not me.
She wasn't there for that.
It was before I came here.
Four of us sleeping in a Toyota Corolla. It was still like, this is liberating. Plus, I have bros and like all of these things. And it felt really like I wasn't doing the thing yet all the way. Like, it was still a point where, it was kind of like in between, before it even got to standards. it was just like, yeah, there was like, it was a little bit of like a little event. It was more of an adventure, and it felt like an adventure. And we were at that point, I don't want to talk about the specific things that we were doing at that point, but there was like a little bit more of like, this is a magical adventure that I'm going on. And I think the vibes are a little bit more like that a few years ago. Before it, now it's a little bit more normy. Like, you're just kind of like, you're trying to build a life. Back then, I wasn't really thinking about building a life. I was like thinking about going on this adventure thing.
Well, it was a way younger territory being expanded too.
Yeah, I was 25 too. I was younger.
Yeah, and all the people that make up at any given time this army or the pleasure matrix orbiting areas do influence what it looks like too. That was just what I was thinking. So
anyone who comes on board changes the ride for everyone else. It is kind of like onboarding. It is like a train.
Yeah.
On board, get on board.
I think like the thing you said about being clout poisoned by not paying your price, I was just thinking about my own experience with that, because we, especially in the beginning of coming here when it's new and scary and you're like adjusting, you get a lot of attention. You get a lot of attention at a high quality and caliber that you're just not used to in the pay matrix.
Not ready for either.
And not ready for. It's intense to accept delivery. And as me, someone who has challenges accepting deliveries of all types, like getting that much attention and like being around people that are just fully acting fully human without any like masks or substances or like distractions around that are usually around in the pain matrix, it's like a lot. It's a lot to adjust to. And like, if you haven't made enough sacrifice to yourself to the level of the people you're around, like doing it in terms of in the army, so you'd be above them because it's an inverted pyramid. It's a lowerarchy, not a hierarchy. So I had generals below me, and being above them, if I wasn't, say I wouldn't be able to pay as much as them because they're the ones who started this, pay in all the ways. We're talking, when we talk about pay, we're like talking a bit in the social economy. That's like, we're talking about paying with vulnerability, paying with loss of face, paying with like working on your problems, being open and communicative. And there's just like a million things when I say that. But anyways, like, even if I couldn't pay to the level of the generals who were like floating this thing and expanding it from the very bottom as it trickled up, like I at least had to pay enough to like hold on and be able to like not literally just self-eject or be ejected by lack of like cohesion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like you were saying, you didn't think you had paid enough in that way at the beginning. I think that throughout this entire thing, I've struggled with washing. We'll put it in the terminology we use, washing enough to really like, at times it's happened. And it feels really, really good when I wash a level that's like not even on par with, but just able to meet where the generals are at and where this thing is at. And I think like, in a way, I've actually, when I look back in the beginning, I had way more rackets. I'm not saying I don't have any now, but I did have way more, and I had way more problems. And it was like, I was harder. I was way less human than I am now. You were saying I was like a mouse. I couldn't talk. Like, I didn't say anything. I wasn't vulnerable. I like none of that.
I did not coin the mouse.
You did not coin the mouse thing. I literally would just keep manifesting mice, literally.
Yeah, there's mice.
There were mice. There were many mice in different situations. But like, for me back then, the learning curve was that was really, really, the things I was being challenged with were really, really challenging for the time with where I was at. So I was washing, I guess as best as I could. Probably I could have done a little better. But now it's like, it requires a lot more because I have, grown to a point where the same things don't count as washes anymore or they're not like a lot of washing. It's not a lot of washing because it's like
It's not uncomfortable anymore.
Yeah, it's not uncomfortable anymore. And that's good. Like hope to the creator I would be somewhere where I would be growing and those things wouldn't be challenging anymore, or else why would I be here, you know?
There's always something to wash.
There is. And we said to this caller that was on just a little bit earlier, like we wash it all every day. We don't actually wash it all every day. We like washed it all in the beginning to come here, but it requires we didn't even really, and it requires washing it all every day. And we still hold on to things like, yes, we wash in some ways that might have been at one point challenging, but we're holding on to things that we don't want to wash. I don't want to wash my cursing of people. I don't want to stop consciously or unconsciously like cursing and like being mad and getting to be like a victim.
It's hard to give up.
It's hard to give up.
Lying, you know.
Yeah, he loves it. It's a little security blanket. And my security blanket's a different thing, you know? We struggle to wash the core things that once you get through washing, not being addicted to drugs, not drinking, not having coffee every day, ever, not like, you start washing deeper and deeper till you get to core issues that you need to wash that are like really hard. So we're at this point where we're hitting into some of the core issues. We're having like a bit of a healing crisis over here. We're like washing those things, the cursing, the lying. For me, the like addiction to bread and sugar or just getting treats to like distract myself from my life is incredibly difficult. It's incredibly hard.
Mm-hmm.
So when we are washing those things more, our lives are flowing and smooth, and our careers here go better. It's easier because washing expands territory here.
So what was at the feeling, I think I was just getting a little bit cloud poisoned by like the amount of attention and kind of like direction. I just had a newfound direction in my life, and to me that was a very valuable thing coming from like, you know, smoking heroin and meth like 3 months previously, where I was like, well, I was looking for direction in that too. I was like, okay, so the new direction in my life is like, you know, smoking really intense hardcore drugs with like my best friend from high school, like in my hometown. I was like, that's the new direction, because the direction for music business was like totally boring, didn't give a fuck about it anymore. So I was like, all right, I need a new direction. Okay, I'm gonna go try being like a real hardcore carpet square flipping junkie for a second, and that gave me some direction for a second. It was a really, really diminished returns, and I could only be a junkie for like 3 months before I was already tired of it. And I was like, you know, my drug addictions, like when I went like all the way into being like, all right, I'm gonna go into the hardest one at the hardest time, I can only pull it off for like a few months. A lot of people like go and do it for like the rest of their lives or like years. Hey. All right. That wasn't where I was at exactly. I was, you know, I have longer term addictions than that even, that kind of keep going. Sorry, just, you know, having real time things happening.
Yeah. And for me, like the direction,
I always find the Jewish people out there. Like even if I'm not trying, they find me. I don't know. It's like I'm actually surprised by how many people that are like just in the culture are just Jewish. And now I'm like running into more people who are like secular Jews, and like, you know, after like spending a year and a half in full Orthodox religious Jews, talking to them every day, I'm like, anyway, that's neither here nor there with the topic of this live. It's just always
this section of this live. Yeah,
it's funny.
I was thinking about direction when you were talking about it, of like my own life, and in the pain matrix, what I used as like my compass or whatever.
Yeah, what were you looking for in terms of direction before you came here? What were your things? Because you hopped around and like you had like 20 different careers.
I had so many different jobs, but all of them were like not actually careers. That's the distinction. Like I never had a career, if anything, my career and my identity was that I was an artist. And that was from way young until I came here. Basically, that was my primary identity, an artist. And
an artiste.
But like that gave me the little direction I did have was in being an artist and like basically not even acknowledging, but operating as a small business. That was what being an artist was for me. Like I was like having a little online shop and selling comics at my zine fests and comic festivals, you know, tabling as the terminology we used. Tabling. I was tabling at the Wowie Zonk table in Toronto Comics Art Festival. That was like the peak of my career.
Zonk.
That was the peak of my career in the comics world.
Secret underground. I don't know. Something's going. That sounds like Voodoo Donuts. That's the vibe I'm getting from Wowie Zonk.
Honestly, yeah. So like
anyway. Canceled video taken off YouTube.
Other than that, my other direction was the men I was with. Like I found direction, quote unquote direction, because that's a crazy direction to have is like someone else. It's part of my codependency that I have still deal with, but was really just like leaning into real hard before I came here.
But you were just like taking their direction?
Yeah, I was just making my life about the relationship I was in. And yes, your romantic relationship, your partner, that is a big part of your life. But for me, it was like, it was just done in an unhealthy way. Like I cared about.
Well, this is very healthy. What we're doing here.
It's more healthy. It's definitely toxic still in all the ways that we hold on to our rackets and do not wash. We have a very toxic relationship around those things, but it's a better relationship in so many ways. I really don't want to clout poison you right now by talking about it in this context.
It's worse.
But I'm just saying, for me,
it's the worst thing.
For me, I am not like.
We need a lamp. Sorry, I'm distracted.
Thank you.
Go on.
For me, this relationship is not my identity. It's not codependent in the ways that it was in the pain matrix with my relationships. I have my own desires, or I don't want to use that word. I have my own wants and needs that on a good day, I'm more concerned with rather than like tunneling into this.
It's just funny that you're saying this relationship isn't your identity, which is true, but it's also just a funny juxtaposition to the fact